Nebraska falls to Purdue 43-37. The defense gave up 608 yards, including 391 passing yards to Aidan O'Connell, who, if you are an NFL guy and he wasn't on your radar before, he damn well better be now. We talked about this during the week in our shows about how Nebraska was going to finally face a real quarterback, and they did. I mean, the guy was phenomenal all night long. He rarely was under any pressure. That's unfortunate. O'Shawn Matham had him in his grips twice, couldn't get him down. I mean, I hate to start out this thing talking about the other team, but they had that guy make plays again and again and again. And then there's this freaking walk-on Mockobee dude that looks like I don't know. He's one of those guys you hated to play. You guys now call it kill the carrier, where you swear to God you don't want to tackle him because you know he has like knives in his pants or something. Or in this case, this guy with knives in his knee pads. And finally in the second half, they finally stopped being so afraid of his gangly knees flying all over the place and started tackling him better. Nebraska played much better in the second half. We did have a blocked punt. And I want to say this about the blocked punt. Every time Nebraska makes a play like that, it should be obvious to all of you how little coaching was going on before Scott Frost was fired. I don't want to go into the past more than that, but that should be obvious by now. It should be just so obvious that if you have anybody who still supports that guy get rid of him. In your friend group, get rid of them. They're toxic or the brain dead or something. Anyway, moving on. The defense, they played well at times, and other times they faced a real quarterback and we're not very good at defense. It's pretty obvious we miss a lot of speed in the linebacker position, and our defensive line is sorely lacking in depth and players. Obviously, the offensive line is sorely lacking in any type of blocking. I mean, you kept looking at this game and thinking, God, could we just run the ball? And no, we really can't run the ball because nobody can block. I mean, the first half looked like Thompson was going to get killed. And then the second half, they figured out how to manufacture points. And I think that's the key for this team the rest of the season, if they could even get another win or get to a bowl game or something. Because I think everything's still up in the air. Purdue played well. They have to be freaked out about their defense. And Trey Palmer he set a new Nebraska record with, I think, what is it here? He was the top rusher with 60 yards with one carry, and he had 237 yards receiving, so that's a record. I mean, that's good. I'm not going to be too angry about this because I'm not expecting a whole lot. It would have been nice to come out of this with the win. Thompson's 2 interceptions were certainly, they were kind of game killers. And where he made just 2 really bad throws, and where you saw like Aidan O'Connell at the end of the game with somebody right in his face, still gets off a play where Nebraska could have made a stop and had like one more chance to get Trey Palmer on a go route and win the game. And that really probably was the biggest difference in the game, was Purdue's quarterback was just out of sight, incredible. And then they what did they have? They had 217 rushing yards. This Mockobee kid with the gangly legs and the knives in his knee pads or thigh pads had 178 yards, which is pretty good for a walk-on. Let's see. I also have some other notes here. The good news was we have a different team under Mickey Joseph. I think that should be apparent. They don't fall apart. They keep fighting throughout the entire game. They're just not really very good. I thought it was interesting that Purdue was the one who, I always talk about the idea that Nebraska's defense isn't good, so you want to run the ball and slow the game down. We really can't do that. Well, it was Purdue this time that started trying to slow the game down and run the clock down so they could snap the ball. And then, their short passing game stuff was basically like running the ball. I mean, with that O'Connell's accuracy, throwing those on the outside, Nebraska's players just missing coverage at inopportune times. I mean, it's basically just like running the ball. You're still moving the clock, and you're still picking up first downs. Nebraska had massive explosive plays. You know, Trey Palmer, they literally outclassed everybody on the field. Someday, mark my words, you're probably going to see players in the NFL. Aidan O'Connell throwing the ball to Trey Palmer for the Green Bay Packers. I don't know. You know, I'm not going to be angry about this. We have a team that fought well. We just didn't win. We made some mistakes. We certainly showed that it'd be nice if how we work in the second half is we could just move that into a little bit further into the first half, because I think we played pretty well in the second half, and it became a game. I mean, put it this way. Like I said earlier, after the first half of this game, I wonder how many of you didn't watch the rest, or how many of you just turned it off because you thought, okay, 27-13, Purdue looks good. We look like crap. This game's over. We're going to get blown out. It's going to be 42-45-13 or something. We're not even going to score. I want to know in the comments how many of you actually did that. Be honest. And you know what? Please subscribe to this channel. I know a lot of you watch this for the post-game reaction to see what I have to say. Help me out and go buy a t-shirt or something. I want to form a cult. The power beanie of winning, it didn't come through for us this time, so I'm not sure what to say about that. Okay, I think that's it for now. Tomorrow's another day. I'm not sure if I have anything else to say about this game other than just, Purdue outplayed us. I don't think we were completely outcoached. Because in the past, Jeff Brom, Matt Millen went on and on about him being a good play caller, and I agree with that, except for at the end of the games, he doesn't run the ball to run the clock out. But when you can have Aidan O'Connell make those throws to a defense that's getting picked apart, I guess you can understand why. You have to, if you don't know Purdue people, you should ask them what they thought about the last 5 to 10 minutes of the game, if they thought they were going to win, because I'm almost going to guarantee you 80% of them would have said no, because they've gone through a lot of pain in their lives. And if you want some hope for the future, I don't say there is no hope anymore because that other son of a bitch was fired. If you want some hope in the future, look at Tennessee today. That Tennessee versus Alabama game was unbelievable. It was fun to watch. There were athletes all over the field. Bryce Young was for Alabama, was just out of his mind with the scrambling and getting the ball away. And Tennessee still figured out how to win that. And I know there's been a lot of Tennessee people watch these videos. Kudos to you guys. For Nebraska fans, what I bring up Tennessee for is think about how much crap they've gone through. How they've gone through coach after coach after coach. And the entire nation has thought they were crazy at sometimes. But here they are. They beat Alabama. They're one of the best teams in the nation under Josh Heupel, a coach that coached at USC after Frost. So keep that in mind, that, it's about finding the right people to lead your program. And I think we showed today against Purdue that we do have some players and we do have some talent. And I think that's all I have. This is long enough. Take care of yourselves. I hope you're doing well. Go Big Red.